All right, so I'm going to give you guys some information for those that this applies to. Take this information and apply this to your situation. If this does not apply to you, simply ignore it. I'm going to read a couple of different articles. Do what you will with that information because I think it's very, very important for us Black people. So, this was information compiled off of the 2023 FBI hate crime statistics. In September 2024, the FBI released the 2023 Hate Crime Statistics Report, which compiles data on bias motivated offenses reported by law enforcement agencies across the US. This report focuses on crimes driven by biases based on race, ethnicity, religion, sexual orientation, disability, gender, or gender identity. It also highlights the ongoing issue of hate crimes affecting communities nationwide. We're going to read these two sections, the first two of key findings and trends. Increase in hate crimes. This information reveals that hate crime incidents increased by 228 in 2023. There were 11,862 cases compared to 11,634 in 2022. Race-based crimes. Hate crimes rooted in race, ethnicity, or ancestry remain the most common. There were 5,900 reported incidents in 2023. Anti-Black or African American incidents made up more than half of these at 51.3% and were more than 3 times higher than the next highest racial or ethnic category. For all the people that say, oh, Black people, they never have to go through anything, these are things of the past, it doesn't matter. This is example one. This just happened about 3 years ago, almost 3 years ago. This is article based off of what was written in Wikipedia on the 2022 Buffalo shooting. On May 14th, 2022, shooting occurred, a mass shooting in Buffalo, New York, United States, at a Tops Friendly Market supermarket in the East Side neighborhood. 10 people, all of whom were African Americans, were murdered, and 3, one of whom was African American, were injured. The shooter, identified as 18-year-old Peyton S. G., he live streamed part of the attack on Twitch, but the live stream was shut down by the service in under 2 minutes. He was then taken into custody. He pled not guilty at first. Then he eventually pled guilty to all state charges, including murder, domestic terrorism, and hate crimes. On February 15, 2023, he was sentenced to 11 concurrent life sentences without the possibility of parole. As of this date, federal charges are still ongoing, and the federal prosecutions also expressed their intentions to seek the death penalty. Now, take a look at this part right here. Let's just read all of this right here. Let's just read this. He is reported to have written a manifesto describing himself as an ethno-nationalist and a supporter of white supremacy, who is motivated to commit acts of political violence. He voiced support for the far-right Great Replacement conspiracy theory in the context of a white genocide. The attack has been described as an act of domestic terrorism and is also being investigated as a hate crime, which was motivated by racism. Dylann Storm Roof is an American white supremacist, neo-Nazi, and mass murderer who perpetrated the Charleston church shooting. During a Bible study on June 17, 2015 at Emmanuel African Methodist Episcopal Church in Charleston, South Carolina, Roof killed 9 people, all African Americans, including senior pastor and state senator Clementa C. Pinckney. Hope I didn't say her name wrong. Rest in peace to her. And injured a 10th person. After several people identified Roof as the main suspect, he became the center of a manhunt that ended that morning after the shooting with his arrest in Shelby, North Carolina. He later confessed that he committed the shooting in hopes of igniting a race war. Roof's actions in Charleston have been widely described as domestic terrorism. For the next example, this is an article pulled from the Harvard Law Review. For a significant portion of American history, gun laws bore the ugly taint of racism. The founding generation that wrote the Second Amendment had racist gun laws, including prohibitions on the possession or carrying of firearms by black people, whether free or enslaved. Now, this part right here really had me like surprised. And I can't find the official law on this, but I mean, this if this article is saying that this law is out there, this really blows my mind. A Florida law in 1825 authorized white people to enter into all Negro houses and lawfully seize and take away all such arms, weapons, and ammunition. That's fucking crazy. So the purpose of this video is not to call for a revolution against white people. This is not a video that is targeted to white people, but the purpose of this video is to inform us law-abiding black gun owners, black men, black women, to go out, purchase a firearm, learn how to use that firearm, study the laws within the state that you reside in, and understand that unfortunately we are the most targeted racial group in America. And the only thing that we can do at this point is to push more black people to go out and legally arm themselves and to study the laws within the state that they reside in, study the federal laws, go out and purchase a pistol, a rifle, a shotgun. Everybody doesn't have to be a collector. Sometimes go out, get what you need, and that's it. I didn't want to just talk out of my ass and present information that you guys can't utilize. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to plug in each and every article that I talked about in this video, just so that you guys can go in, read the whole thing on your own time, and come to your own conclusions. I'm just here to present this information, do what you will with that information, and apply it when necessary.